Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. It's snowing in Canada. We got a lot of snow, more than what we asked. Before we begin, let's first check where our little Skittles is. As I said in my previous video, she knows how to keep herself warm in this cold weather. She hates to wear sweaters or jacket, but she knows how to keep herself warm. Hello Skittles, come and say hi to my viewers. Come. Are you seeing what Mama is cooking? Come and say hi to my subscribers. Come. Right now. Now recently I posted a video a few weeks ago about low pressure issue in Breville Barista Express. I know many Breville Barista Express owners are suffering from that low pressure issue because whenever they buy the store-bought coffee and when they dial in and extract, they're not getting enough pressure here. It's always low and the flow is too much, and they are not getting great tasting coffee. And that video got a lot of comments and there were some questions, and I thought in today's video I'll clarify all the remaining questions and my final thoughts on how to fix this low pressure issue completely. And obviously I'm talking about the issue when you use the single wall non-pressurized filter basket, not the pressurized one. Now, I already posted part 1 and part 2 video for the same issue, low pressure issue. So this will be the final thought. Now, in the part 1 and 2, we learned 3 important things in order to fix this issue. So the first thing we learned is about the grind size. This is where you adjust on the side here. Now, this grind size should be finer. If you have the low pressure issue, let's say for example the grind setting is at 6, reduce it to 4 or 3 to make it more finer. The more finer it is, you'll get more pressure when extracting, and that will stop the quick flow of the espresso, and you should get enough pressure on the pressure gauge here. Now if that grind size didn't help you, that means you're already in grind size at the finest, that is at setting 1, and still you're not getting enough pressure. The next thing we learned is to adjust the internal burr setting, which is inside your hopper. So you'll have to open that and then take out the burr. So you turn to unlock this and take it out. If you want to see the full description of the video how to remove this, just watch the part 1 video. Now if you look closely, let me zoom in and see. Okay, now here you have some numbers written inside there and the indicator here fine and coarse. So if you look around, you see the number 10, that's the coarse setting, and if you go the other way, you see the number 1, which is the finest setting. Now look at this indicator and it's sitting at 6, that is right in the middle. Now to make it finer, you need to lower the number maybe to 4. So in order to do that, you have to remove this clip. Just take it out, and then you need to hold the bottom part and turn the top portion. So I'm going to turn it to 4. So now it's sitting at 4, and you need to put this lock back in order to make that setting permanent. So put it back in the hole there, and the other side. So now your setting is at 4. You have made it more finer. So this should fix most of the issue. You can put it back and grind it again and see. Now I received a lot of comments in that previous video where adjusting the internal burr setting, it has fixed most of their issues. Now thanks to all those who gave me the feedback. Now this changing the burr setting, it's there in the Breville's manual. So all credit to the Breville, not me. Anyway, it's in page number 20 and you could read about it, though it's not clearly described why we have to change that setting. But if you have the low pressure issue or the high pressure issue on this machine, make use of the internal burr setting change. Now it's okay to change. There is nothing abnormal to that. They have given you a wide range for you to play with it. And as you know, some beans are so stubborn and it needs a wider range of setting in order to extract properly from it. Now the third thing we learned in the part 2 of the video is use freshly roasted beans, not freshly bought, but freshly roasted beans. Now store-bought beans, they have an expiry date, and when you buy from a local store, they will tell you the roasted date. That's the difference. That's the date you want to know, not the expiry date. Now, this is a store-bought coffee. This is a very nice coffee, very great tasting coffee. I've reviewed this. Check the link in the description below about the review on this. Now, if you look carefully right here, there is an expiry date here. That is 18th of November 2021. So that means this beans is good till that date, provided you open before that date. As soon as you open the coffee beans, it's going to react with the oxygen, and as soon as it meets the oxygen, it's going to release the CO2 gas, degas immediately, and it's going to get stale as soon as possible. So once you open this, you have to consume in very few weeks, maybe 2 to 3 weeks maximum. You have to finish this. Now another tip is buy in small quantity. If you're buying from the store, let's say you want to taste that coffee, buy the smallest quantity possible. Now if you are buying from the local roaster, they will tell you the roasted date and you can write it on it. Some are written with it, some are not, but you could always check with them and make sure you consume it within 3 to 4 weeks. Don't leave it more than that. So one great tip I'll give you is buy the coffee beans in very small quantity. That is just enough for you to finish in 2 weeks. That's what I would recommend. So buy maybe 500 ounce or 250 grams of coffee beans, not more than that, and make sure you finish it within 3 weeks. So if you are the one who is always facing the low pressure issue, go home, open your kitchen cupboard, throw away that coffee beans that are old, which are stale, they're good for nothing. Throw it away and buy freshly roasted coffee beans from your local store and consume it within 2-3 weeks. And that will ensure you that you always get the consistent, fresh coffee that will look like honey dripping from your portafilter. Now, if you have followed all these steps that I just discussed, now you should be able to get great tasting espresso, and you should get in the pressure range well, and even stop that quick flow of the espresso, but get a honey-like extraction. This should fix all the issue. But still, there are some people who still struggle with the low pressure issue, even though they have followed all the above protocols. And that's why I'm making this video today to discuss further about this issue. Now, some of you told me in the comments below that their grinder setting is already at the finest, that is at 1, and the internal burr setting is at the finest, that is at 1. one here and one here. Still, they are not getting enough pressure in the pressure gauge. So if you are in this situation, keep watching this video. Now others say that they are able to get the correct pressure range, high pressure, but still the flow of the espresso, it's too quick and they are not getting that honey-like pour. Now if you are in this situation, follow the steps that I'm going to discuss now. Now the first thing you need to check is whether your machine is working properly. Now I'll tell you an easy step how to check whether the pressure gauge, everything is working well. Let's have a closer look. Now in order to test whether your machine is working fine, you take your portafilter and look for the double cup dual wall. This is the pressurized basket. I don't use this often, so I had to look around to get this. Anyway, I found this. Now use this. Now all you do is don't put any coffee grinds. All you're doing is just run water. Now press the double cup button and look at the pressure range. That's a pre-infusion. Now if you notice, the pressure range went up to the middle around 11 o'clock position. That's what you should get using the pressurized basket by just running the water. Now if you don't get this pressure in that range after pre-infusion, that means there's something wrong with your machine. And if you are getting very high pressure and the water is also choking, that means that single hole in that basket may be blocked. You need to clean that. Now the next thing you need to check for the low pressure issue is your portafilter. Make sure it is in the lock position here. Now if you look carefully, it's written lock and unlock. Now there is a slight catch to this. If your machine is warm, then it can go beyond the lock position. Now I've seen some machine, the portafilter will go beyond the lock position towards the right. Now if your machine is new, it may not go beyond the lock position. Now if you don't lock it properly, the pressure can go through the sides here. So make sure you lock all the way to the lock position. Now something to notice, if your machine is new, that means the silicone seal around the group head, that's also new. That means it won't allow you to tighten beyond the lock position. Like my machine, it would be straight, that's the lock position, and it won't go beyond this unless I really apply pressure. Now I've seen many Breville Barista Express machine, it can go beyond the lock position towards the right. Now if your portafilter goes towards the right, make sure you go all the way to the right to ensure that it's locked. That's because either your silicone seal, it's worn out, that could be the reason, but make sure you lock it all the way to the right. Now I've also noticed if my machine is really warm, the group head, everything is warm, it can slightly go beyond the lock position, but I have to really apply pressure. But don't break your seal there, just make sure it's tight and in the lock position there. Now the third thing to inspect is the silicone seal around the group head. In order to reach there, you need to remove the portafilter, and let me give you a closer shot because it's somewhere here. So you need to inspect that white silicone that you see around the group head screen here. Make sure it is not torn. So look around the group head Sometimes it can be torn. I've seen my other machine, it was torn, and it was time to replace that. If it is worn out or if you see any damage, make sure you replace that white silicone seal, because if it's damaged, the pressure can go through that white silicone and it can leak. So make sure you replace that. It's not expensive. You can get it from Amazon or Breville website directly. It's not expensive, so make sure you change that silicone. Now the fourth tip is, after dosing, make sure you tamp it harder. Now I don't recommend you to go very low, lower than the Breville racer height. Now this is set at the racer height, so don't go too low. So you could tamp it down, make it a bit harder, and make sure don't go very lower than the Breville height. Now if you have noticed that after tamping it harder, if it goes way lower than the racer height, make sure you increase the dose by 1 gram. Let's say you've dosed 18 grams here, make sure next time you put 19 grams, so that even if you tamp it harder, you still get it in that racer height. So that's another tip to note. I've seen many people, they just dose it and try to polish it using the tamper. They don't really tamp it. The proper way to tamp is to hold your hand 90 degrees up and press it down and rotate if needed. Now tamping it harder has fixed the issue for many people, so try that. Increase the dose and tamp it harder. Now after trying all those 4 steps, and if you still have the issue, I would recommend you to do this step. This is increasing the PID by +2 degrees Fahrenheit. Now this is not recommended for all the beans, but some beans won't accept the hot water well to extract the oil out of it. It needs higher temperature, and that's the last option you could try. And also you could always check with the local roaster whether it needs higher temperature, whether you need to adjust the PID. Now there is a video on how to adjust the water temperature. PID is nothing but increasing or decreasing the water temperature manually in this machine, and thankfully Breville Barista Express has that option to increase or decrease the temperature of the water. So that's the last thing you could try. Now to note that if you increase the temperature or higher the temperature, you get medium acid, full body of the espresso, high sweetness, but it will be more bitter, or you'll find some strange taste to it. But like I explained, some coffee beans, they need higher temperature in order to extract the sweetness and good taste out of it. So nothing wrong in trying that. Maybe your beans needs higher temperature in order to extract well. So try it as the last option. Now I'll quickly show you how to increase the temperature. I would recommend you to increase it by 2 degrees so that you can taste and see how it is. If it is too bad, then you can go back to your previous setting, or if it is improving, then you can try +4 degrees Fahrenheit and see whether it improved a bit more, and see whether you're getting enough pressure and nice honey-like flow. So in order to increase the temperature by 2 degrees Fahrenheit, all you do is press the program button and power button just once. It's like a click, and it will show the current water temperature. This is set at 200 degrees Fahrenheit, which is the default. +2 will be the single cup button, and +4 will be the double cup button, or -2 will be the filter size button, or -4 will be the power button. So it indicates, it will glow. So you will see. So I press the program button and power button, and then I'm going to increase by 2 degrees Fahrenheit, which is the 1 cup button. So let me do that. Press power, 1 click, leave it, it shows the current. Now I increase to +2 degree Fahrenheit. Now my water temperature is 2 degrees more than the default setting. So now it's at 202 Fahrenheit. Now to increase to +4 degree Fahrenheit, this is the button that you need to press. So first thing, switch off the machine. So I press the program button, power button once. It shows the current temperature. Increase it. So from 202, I increased to 204 degree Fahrenheit. Now, if you want to go back to the default 200 degree Fahrenheit, again switch off the machine. So you press the program power once, it shows the current. Go back to the default, which is 200 degree Fahrenheit. Now you've reset the machine back. So that's how you adjust the water temperature. You could decrease the temperature by pressing -2 or -4. So play with this PID parameters and see whether it's improving your espresso, the pressure and the taste. Now, if none of these 5 solutions work for you, then I would suggest you to do the last step, which is the 6th one, that is to find another local roaster and get another type of beans freshly roasted and try it out on your machine. It could be something to do with the roaster and the beans, the quality of the beans, or maybe they're not telling you the correct date. I don't know. Just try a different roaster and see whether it makes any difference. And if none of these solutions work for you, then the last thing I would say is try to contact the Breville support. They are usually quick to respond. There could be something wrong with the machine that you have, and they will be able to provide you the solution, and you should be able to get the issue fixed. Now, if you enjoy this video, give a big thumbs up, press that like button, and that really helps me with the algorithm. And please click subscribe if you haven't, and if you are new to my channel, please do subscribe, because I'll be posting more videos on Breville Barista Express. So stay tuned, guys. See you on the next video. Have a good day.